Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. It's time for update for this cycle, and this cycle has been, I think, one of the hardest ones for me yet. So I'm going to take it from the top because I know that the lives aren't very clear and they kind of don't make sense after the fact because of the way that I reply to comments, and it's kind of a conversation. So I know that a lot of you really want to know what's going on, but the lives aren't really helping in that aspect. So we're going to take it from the top, and yeah, cycle number 6. So first things first, I got my first positive at 11 dpo on the prognosis. The other tests were showing negative, and then 12 dpo discontinued, but with progression on the prognosis. And finally, at 13 dpo, I got a positive on all of my pregnancy tests, including clear blue, first response, and prognosis as well. Now, in the afternoon on Saturday, which was 13 dpo, I did another test, and that was fainter. I kind of thought it was just because it was the afternoon, not really thinking much about it. Sunday, I did a test which was fainter, and then Monday, when I finally tested again and did a video for you guys as well, the pregnancy tests were clearly practically negative. The first response was negative, the clear blue was practically negative, and prognosis was still showing a faint line. But it was insanely faint. So after that, I decided that I had to go to the doctor and just figure out what was going on. Naturally, I feared a chemical pregnancy, and I will admit to you guys, I spent half of Monday crying. The doctor did kind of calm me down a bit, gave me a little bit of hope. I feel like she was a lot more hopeful than I was, and funnily enough, it still is at this point. I'll get to that in a moment. So I went in and did blood tests on Tuesday morning, did the blood tests, and later in the afternoon on Tuesday I started spotting. It started as bright red. By the way, we're getting TMI from this point on. The blood started out as bright red just a couple times when I wiped, and it was gone, and the rest was just brown spotting for the rest of the day. In the evening on Tuesday, I started feeling kind of weird sensation. It wasn't exactly cramping, but it wasn't exactly pain. It was kind of in between. Very weird. I had never felt it before, so I really don't know what it was, but I feel like it was connected to this whole thing. In the morning, I woke up to a basically bleeding. It wasn't spotting anymore. It wasn't enough to fill a pad, but it was enough for me to have to wipe a couple times before there was none left when I went to the bathroom. The blood was substantial enough for me to know that obviously I was not pregnant anymore. After finding out the results, I basically had to contact the doctor's office and ask them if the results had come in. They told me yes, but we were going to contact you tomorrow because they came in after 12. And I was like, what are you talking about? Anyway, after a bit of an annoying conversation, I booked an appointment with my doctor and went in later that afternoon. I was still bleeding throughout the entire day at that point. Again, not filling a pad. You can understand, kind of, guys, I literally could have worn one pad throughout the entire day, and the flow was not strong enough to fill the pad. So I basically went to the doctor, and she told me that my levels were at a 2. So on Tuesday morning when I tested, my levels were at a 2, meaning that they literally plummeted from Saturday until Tuesday. They just went. So it was basically confirmed that yes, I had a chemical pregnancy. The fact that I was 2 days late just indicated more in that direction. She did tell me though, and this is where I find it a little bit like, so she said to me basically that you're not pregnant, it's negative for pregnancy because anything below 5 is considered negative. But at the same time, obviously your levels did rise. Now she says, I don't know if they are rising now or if they had risen and fell. And I was like, what do you mean? So she has a theory, which honestly, I don't believe because it's a bit far-fetched for me. I don't know if you guys have experienced anything like this. I don't know. where the bleeding I'm having is implantation bleeding. So she told me to monitor the bleeding, and if I feel that it is not up to the point where like I feel like it's my period, that I should go and get a HCG test done again on Monday and see if my levels are rising again, which I found really weird because I got the positive pregnancy test, the line got lighter, the HCG test confirmed that my levels were at a 2 on Tuesday, which is when I started bleeding, because you don't start bleeding until your levels are below 5. And yet, because I feel like it's far-fetched to consider that it's possible to have had 2 separate eggs that were fertilized separately and one implanted, didn't make it, and the other implanted right after, that it feels a bit like science fiction, really. So yeah, I don't really know. I am monitoring the bleeding naturally. It is not up to the level of what I would consider a normal period, but I also think that maybe my period is just changing, and considering that it was a chemical pregnancy, I think that it may just be lighter but over a few more days rather than just straight up a really strong flow. I don't know. I've never really experienced anything like this, so I really can't know. I'm just monitoring, and yeah. In the instance that it was the one embryo and the one loss, I know that we will continue trying. That is not even a question, and I do know that there is a possibility that you are more fertile after things like this. I know all that stuff. I try to kind of tell myself positive aspects, and then there are also things that are so much worse than such an early chemical pregnancy. Like such an early miscarriage is literally nothing compared to other things, and a lot of you will know what I'm talking about. So yeah, don't know about the far-fetched story. I don't think I'll be doing my HCG again on Monday. My arm is insanely bruised from the first one I did on Tuesday. Like, it's ridiculous. I don't think I'll be doing it again because I don't think it's possible. Like, can you implant twice? I feel like cycle 6 is over and done with, and cycle number 7 is in front of us, ahead of us. Anyway, you want to say it? I don't know. I can't speak anymore. Yeah. I will reclaim my positivity, and I will see you guys soon. Bye, guys.